K-Squad, what up? Thanks for tuning in today's video. As you see here, I'm trying to show y'all the duochrome shift we got going on. We are using mostly Pat McGrath products. I did have to sprinkle in a couple of goodies for my collection to get this look, but I love it. So grab you a snack, get your water intake in, and tune in to see how this look came together.
We're starting off with a bare face. We're going to do a full face of Pat McGrath, which I'm excited about this video because I have never tried. This is the Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Foundation. I've never tried it. I picked mine up in the shade Medium Deep 25, so hopefully that's a good match. And then I'm finally going to play in my Divine Rose 2 palette. I did not pick up her new, what is it, the Utopian Dream? I think that's what it's called. I haven't picked it up, although I've seen people's videos with it and it looks really good, but you know, I'm that 30% off kind of girl, so that's why I have a brand new, this is the special edition packaging of the Divine Rose 2 palette, and that's what that looks like inside. So I'm gonna finally dip into that. I'm so excited. First, I'm just gonna start off with a primer. I got this in a recent Ulta haul, so I'm gonna prime my eyes with this base. Oh, that feels really smooth actually. I remember Nitra B was raving about this for years, and I had just never tried it, so it feels good on me. I'm gonna do my eyes first because if there's any fallout, I can clean it up before I do my face. So going into this special edition packaging, look how pretty. Taking a Reference number 16 blush, I'm gonna go ahead and put that as a nice blown out shade there. Oh, that light shade came off like this, okay. But I want this as just peeking out the background, so we're gonna use this as my transitional kind of shade. As I'm blending that, I'm noticing that I need to clean up underneath my eyebrows. So I'm taking a little bit of Pat's concealer. This is in the shade MD23. I just want to clean up underneath my brows real quick. Gonna take Sedona Lace EB11. Taking the same shade and just going back. So what I'm noticing in this palette is there's only 2 mattes in this palette. So we have the shade I just used, which is Naked Blush. So then I have to go in with the shade Extreme Burgundy, and I want to just deepen up. Hopefully that's enough to deepen it up, deepen up the corner. I kind of think I want to do a halo eye, which I haven't done in a long time. So hopefully just these 2 mattes will help me achieve it. I'm gonna start by building this Extreme Burgundy shade, which I like because it's like a plum brown. This is pretty. So I'm gonna start building this up towards the outer portion of my eye. And I have a Reference 01 with this. And then also bring it into the inner portion of my eye. And then join the 2. So you see I have it on the outside, I have it on the inner corner, and then I'm just joining the 2 around into the crease. I kind of want a shade in between the Naked Blush shade and that, so I'm going to have to figure that out. But for now, I did want to operate off of one palette, but I may go into another palette for more shades. Let's see. I went ahead and grabbed my Midnight Sun palette, which is actually the palette that I wore in the video where I had on the green eyeshadow look recently. I'm gonna take this shade, I think it's Vermilion Venom, this middle shade here, on a Reference number 14, and I want to go in between those 2 shades. So my transition shade and the shade that I use for to deepen up the halo eye, I want to go around it just to marry the 2. This Reference number 14 is such a good detailed brush. I really love these brushes. Going back in with Naked Blush and the original brush. That's the color that's peeking in the background. I'm gonna swatch these shades. I've never even swatched them, so I gotta see which one I'm gonna use. Ooh. Which one I'm gonna use on my eyelid. Oh, that bronze is pretty. I don't know if y'all can see. Oh yeah, you can see it. How this shade shifts from pink and green. I think that's the shade I'm gonna go for. I'm gonna take a little bit of my NYX Glitter Primer and just kind of tap it in the center where I left that space open. I swatched the 2 pink shades in there too. That is pretty. Those are pretty, but I'm not going the pink route today. I'm just gonna take a little bit of, what's the name of the shade? Oh yeah, Sextra Celestial. I'm gonna place that right here in the center of those shades. Guys, y'all see that? That is freaking gorgeous. Making sure everything is nicely blended. That's it. What I use? 1, 2, 3, 4 shades on my eyes. Nice and simple. I have both of Pat McGrath's. I have the liquid liner and I also have the gel liner. So I'm gonna go ahead, apply my liner, lashes off camera because I can't do that on camera. Just know that I'm using these. And then I have some lashes on. I also do have my mascara, which I'm gonna pull out. I think when it look like this, I need lashes. I just thought about it. Before I do that, let me go ahead and apply my primer so that it has time to absorb in. This is the Pat McGrath Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Primer. And it's more like a lotiony texture. I mean, has that pink hue to it. I wouldn't say like it's the best primer in the world. It's like a nice moisturizing primer. It says it smooths, hydrates, and preps skin for a soft, focused, blurred effect. Runway tested, mother approved. So soft, focused, blurred effect. Do I feel like my skin is blurred? Not necessarily. I'm gonna put another pump here. Not necessarily blurred. Thankfully, the skincare that I've been using, I don't really need too much blurring going on. And I didn't have any fallout, and I think that's just because I used my hands rather than a brush. I find that when you use a brush with those shimmer shades, that's when you get fallout. So yeah, now I'm gonna go ahead and do the lashes, liner, all that. Be right back. Alright guys, so we are back. Liner and lashes are done. The lashes that I put on today is these Lily lashes. This is LITE Faux Mink. First of all, if these are lights, I would hate to see what the original joints look like because these are so long to me. Like you guys know, I like my natural looking lashes. So moving on to the face, my favorite part. You know I'm all about that base. I'm going to take the Pat McGrath concealer. I have 2 concealers. So the one that I went under my brows was MD23. I'm going to take MD27 as a color correcting concealer. Only because I hear, you know, being that I'm going in with this foundation, I've heard that it's pretty light coverage and natural looking. So I want to color correct with this concealer. Now, this concealer is a fave underneath my eyes. For my hyperpigmentation over my lip, it gives me that issue where it doesn't necessarily last too long underneath. Like this is one of those that I can actually end up seeing through. So I'm gonna let this concealer sit for a little bit. This is one of the ones that you can actually let sit and it'll just give you more fuller coverage. Let's do that while I moisturize these lips. This is it. This is the Sephora Pro Flawless Airbrush number 56. It looks a little bit dirty, but I did clean it. I spot cleaned it with the IT Cosmetics, what do you call that, brush bath? So I'm confident enough to use it. Now the fun part, we're going into the foundation. This is what it looks like. I have mine in the shade Medium Deep 25. Everything from Mother is just a gift. Like this packaging, come on now. This frosted bottle here, the gold detailing with the black, everything just looks so luxurious. And this is a $68 foundation, guys, regular price. Of course, I got it on a deal. I waited for her to have one of her sales, and that's when I picked it up. I think I got 25 or 30% off. So I'm just gonna squirt 3 pumps on my tray here. I see it running down in the mirror, so I'm not gonna do that for too long. I'm actually gonna take a brush to apply this. I'm gonna take my BK Beauty number 106. Feels nice and cooling. It's kind of orangey though. I don't know if this is the shade for me, and I still do. I don't know how long her return policy is, but I still do have the packing slip from this just in case. I actually want to go over it with a beauty blender just for it to mesh into my skin a little bit more, because number one, the shade match is not like perfect, but right now it's going to be kind of hard to shade match myself anyway because of this, you know, because of my summer tan and everything. So we're going to try to make this work as much as we can, and also let the sponge take up any excess product that's sitting there. But pressing it in with a sponge kind of like, you know, gels it together with your skin. It's not as sheer coverage as I thought it would be, like the way everybody's making it seem in videos. This is like, I can definitely tell I have on makeup. Like, this is not like a natural foundation at all. But people say that you can use such a thin coat. Like with me pouring 3, it was a liquidy, like it was a real thin consistency, so I thought it would be sheer. It's not as sheer as I actually thought it would be. Let's take a little bit of that highlighting shade that I have with the concealer. This is MD22. And this time I will take my sponge and just go over it. This is just to add like a little dimension to the skin, add that highlighted look. And go with the butt of the sponge just to blend it out. I noticed the Pat McGrath video, but I do want to go in with this e.l.f. cream bronzer thing here. I'm going to use the same BK Beauty brush that I use with the foundation just to go in here and try to add a little bit more dimension to my face. Because now that I put that highlight and concealer, I feel like, ooh, do I like this? Looks like peanut butter. That could be my fault too, just for mixing the foundation with the bronzer. This is definitely the perfect cream bronzer for my nose though. For the rest of the face, I don't know, but it does add a little bit of shading, so I'm gonna go on top of it with a powder bronzer anyway. And we know Pat McGrath doesn't have a powder bronzer, but there is one that I want to show you guys that I had hold a while back that I've been using. So I think I can go ahead and set my face. I'm gonna set underneath my eyes first. Taking that same brush that I used to buff out the concealer, I'm just going back over it, making sure nothing settled into any lines. But I love these. I have the Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Blurring Under Eye Primer. I have one in the shade Deep, and I have it in yellow as well. I'm going to take Deep just to set the concealer that's above my mouth before it starts like moving. I'm going to apply it real heavy there because that's where I always sweat. But I will show y'all the yellow powder as well. I'll show y'all that underneath my eyes. And I told you guys, mine broke like as soon as I got it. So you see the yellow is a little bit more translucent for me. You can see the color of the deep, and once I brush it off you won't see color, but I'm not going in as heavy with the yellow, of course. But I want to set those concealed areas. Now this concealer and powder combination, let me tell you, the best. Like, that's why I say I love the concealer underneath my eyes, not so much above my mouth, because you can see it looks a little funny. It looks like I got a mustache actually. I want to set the rest of my face, so I'm just going to take my Gucci setting powder real quick. This is the shade number 12 in the Gucci setting powder. And I have the IT Cosmetics, I don't know if there's a number to this brush, but it's just a powder brush. Yeah, now I feel like I'm set because I felt that foundation before. I don't like the way the cream bronzer looks though. I'm not feeling that cream bronzer too much. Honestly, I was looking for the Danessa Myricks and couldn't find it. I'm really not feeling above my mouth. Yeah, this little beauty blender thing has been the best to press in powder into the skin. Pat McGrath doesn't have bronzers as of yet, and I do want to go in and bronze up my skin, so oh, it's a little dirty because I have been using it. This is the DIOR Forever Natural Bronzer, and this is in the shade 08 Healthy Sun Kissed Skin Bronzer. I believe 08 is the deepest shade of this bronzer, and that's what it looks like there. I'm gonna take my favorite bronzer brush, my Refer number 22, and when I first used this bronzer, I didn't use this brush, and then I didn't like it like that, so I went back in on another day with this bronzer brush. Like, y'all see that? Do y'all see that bronze? I live for a good bronzer, and I love this one. I'm not a fan of that elf putty underneath, but hopefully this will save the day here. So that's the DIOR bronzer in shade 08. Love that bronzer. Now for highlighter, my favorite. This is the Pat McGrath Divine Rose Skin Fetish Ultra Glow Highlighter. This came out during the holiday season, and I'm not sure if it's still available. If it is, I'll definitely link it. Well, I'll have all the products that I use listed and linked down in the description box below for you guys, but I'm taking my favorite one. I have this highlighter from Pat McGrath, and I have the one that she came out with the y'all see that with the blushes, when she came out with the blush collection. And I did a whole video. If you haven't seen that, I did do a whole video swatching all the blushes on my face, the highlighters, the eyeshadow palette, all that stuff. So check out that video if you want to see those in action. But this one is definitely my favorite that I have. The way this melts into the skin is just a whole nother level. But y'all see the way this highlighter blends into the skin? Like, come on now. Should I use this shade from the palette as a blush? Let's do that. I'm gonna take a BK Beauty 103 brush. Oh shoot, okay. Oh, okay, so it came off real pigmented, but it blends out really nicely on the skin. You can see all the blush shades like I said in that video. I'm gonna take this eyeshadow right here from this palette and use this as my blush. Perfect. That is perfection. I want to buff all around my face. A finishing powder is something Pat McGrath hasn't given us as of yet. A setting spray neither. So I have to take my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless. You guys have seen me do this many a times on my channel, I'm sure. I've taken my DIOR No Powder, whatever it's called, this powder and just buffing all around the skin, making sure everything is nicely blended. I love this as a finishing powder. Oh, I actually should have used the one from the Shop My Stash because I've been neglecting that. I actually need to clean out the products from my Shop My Stash. Like, there's some stuff that has been added, and then there's stuff that needs to be taken out because I'm not using it. Like the powder foundations I told you guys about, those don't need to be in the bag. They don't even match my color right now, but you know, the bag is kind of overflowing and it's making me not want to reach in the bag, and I want to keep this Shop My Stash thing going. So I think it's time to clean out that bag, give you guys an update, and you know, if I'm going to change out products or whatever the case may be. Love, 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 love the way my face looks right now. I'm not mad at this. And yeah, that DIOR bronzer definitely did save the day over here. But I just feel like something like, maybe it's the foundation. Like it's like, or maybe I should have used the better primer. I think that's what it is, the primer. I should have used the better primer because I feel like my pores are kind of showing over here. And it is time for me to shave my face. It could be that too. But yeah, real quickly, let me go back to the palette. Let's just finish up the under eyes. I actually need both palettes because I'm going to take, first I'm going to take the Pat McGrath Perma Gel Ultra Glide Pencil, and this one is in the shade Extreme Black. I'm taking a Sonia G flat definer brush, and I'm going to take that Extreme Burgundy shade, and I'm going up under here with Extreme Burgundy to smudge out that black liner. Right towards the end though, not really bringing it in too much. Now dipping back into that, what is it, the Midnight Sun palette. Taking that shade that we used to mesh the two shades together, and that's what I'm going to use to blow out underneath the eye. Going back in with the Dark Star mascara, I'm going to do these bottom lashes real quick, and then we'll get to the lips. Sadly, I don't even own any of her lip liners, which I'm going to change that at some point. But I'm just going in with a ColourPop liner. I don't even know the name of it. It's all rubbed off. I have two of her mini lipsticks in front of me. I'm not sure which one I should go for. I think I'm going to go with the lighter one. I think this is, I can't see. Oh, this is Flush 3. And this one is, oh, Omi. Yeah, Omi. I like Omi. So I'm going to put that on. Super pigmented. I think this kind of goes with that, you know, pinky thing that we got going on here. Should I go in with the lip gloss that I got? This is from that same collection, the Divine Blush collection. This is her Lust Gloss in Earth Angel. Taking that gloss on my finger. And I just realized that I didn't do a inner corner highlight. So I'm going to take that first shade in the palette, the Skin Shows Rose Opal. I'm going to take that on a Sonia G Mini Booster Brush. And I'm going to put that right up here. Loving this palette. Like, I love the way the eyes look. I don't know if the camera's picking up the shift that it gives, because when I look in the mirror that's in front of me, it looks like that rose gold kind of shade, and I look in the mirror behind me and it looks green. Like, that is bugging me out. I love it. Love that dual chrome shade. I love the way the face came out, even though I wasn't a fan of like that bronzing area. It does look a little dry over here. I don't know, like, I don't know if there's texture or what it is. Something in this area is throwing me off. I know it's not the bronzer because I've definitely used this bronzer. I'm really thinking it was that e.l.f. Putty bronzer, which had no business in this video anyway. But there were certain things that I couldn't just achieve a full face with Pat McGrath product. Don't think this primer was like it. This is not the end-all be-all primer. I prefer a primer that actually helps like smooth out texture. And even though in the claims it clearly says that it smooths, hydrates and preps. I do see the hydration aspect of it, but as far as smoothing, I don't think that I have like such a smooth base that I normally have. What can I say about Divine Rose 2? I see why a lot of people love this eyeshadow palette, and I'm so happy that I finally got my hands on it and have it in my collection, that I was able to play with it, because I've had it for a couple of months at this point and I just haven't gotten a chance to play with it. But I love the eye look that I came out with. Super huge fan of the under eye powders, like there's no denying that. I already explained to you how I feel about the concealers. Good for underneath the eye. Like my under eye always looks flawless when I use that concealer and powder together. Like bomb. I've featured it in favorites videos in the past and everything, but just not a fan of the concealer necessarily above where my hyperpigmentation is for my eczema. Oh, the foundation. So it did turn out to be a pretty good match actually. It like blends into my skin. But the foundation, I'm not like super wild by it. It's a $68 foundation. Do I think it's worth the $68? Not necessarily. I mean, you know, I'll have to see how it wears and everything. Again, this is my first time trying it, so I have to see how it wears, and maybe it looks better throughout the day. I don't know, but I'll definitely get back to you guys on that. I haven't been using too many liquid foundations as of lately anyways, but I am glad that I got a chance to finally put it to the test and see, and I do think it is a pretty good shade match on me. Mascara is a favorite. I actually lately have been using this mascara, the Dark Star mascara, because it's really good for lengthening and like separating the lashes, and then I go on top of it with that new e.l.f. mascara. Let me tell y'all, as a matter of fact, I think in the last video that I had, that was the concoction that I had on my eyelashes. Absolutely love that mascara mix. So yeah guys, that basically concludes this full face of Pat McGrath. Doing a little extras there. Do you use any of these products? What's your favorite Pat McGrath products? K-Squad, I want to thank you guys for taking the time out of your day to watch my video. Hope you enjoyed this full face of Pat McGrath with a little bit of extras. If you did enjoy it, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. That helps me out greatly, and it lets other people know that they should be watching this video as well. If you're new here and you enjoyed it, I would love if you considered subscribing to my channel. Check out a couple of videos that I have playing for you guys on the screen, or you can binge watch me on this playlist, and hopefully you will consider subscribing to the channel, and I hope to catch each and every one of you in the next video. Until next time, y'all, stay blessed.